Well, I first met Peter in 2002, and he was immediately clear to me this guy was a great entrepreneur. He was one of the leading philanthropists in this country, but also he was a great sailor. What is so striking about Peter Harrison is the way he says that he's lived a very rewarding and full life, and he now wants to give something back. Well, my goodness, he's giving something back. I mean, we're talking here about over 10 years, something like £18 million, about £1.5 million a year that he's giving to very deserving charities, largely disabled people who can rediscover what life's all about thanks to his generosity.
I'd been in my own business for 24 years in computer internetworking, and I sold that half in 99 and the other half in 2000. On the 29th of April 1999, which is my birthday, I decided to set up the Peter Harrison Foundation, into which the Harrison family gifted £31 million with the objective of distributing the income to a range of charitable projects. My inspiration was a person called Sir Charles Hayward, who I worked for in the 60s, and he'd set up the Hayward Foundation. I rather like the idea of sharing my success, shall I say, or giving something back. And that was my inspiration for setting up the foundation. People have asked me, for example, have I had any family people connected with disability? And the answer is no. But my inspiration for that was a chap called Jeff Holt. And he talked to me about sailability. And sailability was a disability sailing section of the Royal Yachting Association. And to date, we've given, I think, over nearly £6 million to disability sport, covering about 180, 190 different charities. We're also a sponsor to the British Paralympic Association. So I must say, from the chairmanship point of view of the Harrison Foundation, that serendipity of meeting up with Jeff and leading into the whole area of interest in disability sport has been very, very pleasing and very satisfying. We've set up this Opportunity Through Sport program, which is all about disability sport, then Opportunity Through Education, then young people's special needs. There's very much, again, disability and disadvantage. And we give ourselves trustees' discretion. Our view of the disability sport is actually it gives you a chance to build up your own confidence and self-esteem in being able to do things best what you can do, whatever the limits of your physical capabilities are. I had one chap who was a policeman, ex-policeman. I'd opened the Rutland Sailing Club, a new extension to which we'd provided some money for the disability side. And this chap came over to me and he said, "Oh, you saved my life." He'd lost a leg in a car accident. And he said, "I was sort of sitting on the couch, for 2 years not knowing what I was going to do with myself and so on. Well, I saw an advert in the Leicester Mercury and I came along and I'm now in the regular sailing." So I thought, well, isn't that fantastic? We've set up a 5-year program, it'll be 6 years actually now, with Loughborough University, which is called the Peter Harrison Centre for Disability Sport. What we're looking at is to have an academic, researched, evidence-based type of reporting as to what the needs for disability sports, and we're concentrating on disability sports which are in the Paralympics. I'm looking to try and put a report together where we could go to the ministry and government or something and say, look, these are the areas which are needed to be looked after, disability sport. The idea of working with the school, the Reigate Grammar School, who agreed to put up 50% of the fees, and we agreed to go up to other 50% of the fees, for a range of pupils. We said we'd go up to 4 a year, And we, the Peter Harrison Foundation, were the recipients of the Sponsor of the Year award from the Specialist School and Academy Trust, because education gives you choice, it gives you confidence, and it builds up capability of doing things which you want to do, and that's my message. First off, one of the driving objectives of the trustees is to try and retain the capital fund. We can distribute the capital fund, but we seek to distribute the income. 3.5 years ago, I decided to back the Peter Harrison Planetarium at the National Maritime Museum project, Time and Space. The other one I've done recently is I was in the Cubs and Scouts from 8 to 18. They've got a big new project at Gilwell Park, which is the headquarters, of course, of Scouting in the UK, and it involved the building of some new lodges. So I've decided the Peter Harrison Foundation will sponsor one of those lodges. And similarly, I've given £1.5 million to the Jubilee Sailing Trust. I'm very proud of the foundation. I think what we've been able to do, because if you go around and you see, I don't know how many people we've benefited, it must be thousands.
I think the Peter Harrison Foundation is something you don't think of the last 10 years, you think of the next 100 or so. It's wonderful what it has done and the promise of what it can do.